In the golden age of Athens, when democracy danced with philosophy and Sparta sharpened its blades in silence, one man stood above them all, not because he was the most virtuous, but because he was the most dangerous. His name was Alcibiades, and he was everything Athens loved and everything it would one day regret. A military genius, a silver-tongued politician, a seductive manipulator, and a traitor in the eyes of history. He wasn't a hero, he wasn't a villain. He was a storm wrapped in silk, and wherever he went, empires trembled. Born into privilege, Alcibiades was raised in wealth and bathed in brilliance. He was the ward of none other than Pericles, the greatest statesman Athens had ever known. His teacher, Socrates. Imagine growing up with Athens' most powerful man, guiding your politics, and its greatest philosopher, shaping your soul. Yet Alcibiades absorbed their wisdom and twisted it. He didn't want to serve Athens. He wanted to own it. His beauty was legendary, his charm unmatched. People followed him not because they believed in his cause, but because they couldn't look away. He spoke in poetry, dressed like royalty, and fought like a lion. And when the Peloponnesian War dragged Athens into a brutal fight with Sparta, Alcibiades saw opportunity, not for peace, but for glory. He convinced Athens to embark on the Sicilian expedition, a massive invasion of Sicily promising riches and victory. The city cheered. They gave him ships, soldiers, and the future of Athens in his hands. But on the eve of departure, something strange happened. Sacred statues in Athens were mutilated. A religious scandal shook the city. And Alcibiades, golden boy of the people, was accused. He fled before trial, abandoning his army, abandoning Athens, but he didn't vanish. He reappeared in Sparta, standing before the very enemies he once vowed to destroy. And with the same silver tongue he'd used in Athens, he offered them everything. Athenian secrets, naval strategy, battle plans. Sparta welcomed him, and Athens was stunned. Their hero had become a traitor. But the story doesn't end there. Even in Sparta, Alcibiades stirred chaos. He seduced the Spartan queen, fathered a child, and turned his new allies against him. Now hunted by the Spartans and hated by the Athenians, he escaped once more, this time to Persia, offering his services to the satraps of the East. He wasn't loyal to any nation. He was loyal to the game. And somehow, through sheer audacity, Alcibiades convinced Athens to take him back. Yes, they welcomed him back. Why? Because Athens was desperate, Sparta was winning, the war was dragging on. And Alcibiades, the exiled traitor, was still the most brilliant commander they had. So they gave him ships again, and for a moment Athens thrived. He won battles, he reclaimed territories. He restored hope. The people celebrated his return. But Alcibiades could never hold power for long. His ego burned brighter than his patriotism, and when one of his sub-commanders lost a crucial naval battle, the blame fell on him. He fled again, this time for good. He died in exile, ambushed and assassinated in Persia, likely on orders from enemies in both Athens and Sparta. No grand farewell, no marble tomb, just silence, but history didn't forget. Because Alcibiades wasn't just a man, he was a mirror, a reflection of Athens itself. Brilliant, flawed, ambitious, proud, and self-destructive, he symbolized the heights of what Greece could be, and the dangers of unchecked charisma and ego. He was beloved by Socrates but hated by generals. He was trusted by enemies and betrayed by friends. In every city he entered, he shaped history and then set it on fire. So what do we make of him? Was Alcibiades a visionary who never found a home? A misunderstood genius? Or a narcissist who gambled entire nations for personal gain? Maybe he was all of them, and that's why his story matters. Because in every society there are people like Alcibiades, people who dazzle, who disrupt, who rise faster than they fall. And their stories are not warnings, they're reminders. That charisma can inspire, but it can also corrupt. That brilliance without restraint becomes wildfire, and that sometimes the greatest threats come not from our enemies, but from those we trust the most. If this story made you think, share it. Let the legend of Alcibiades spark conversations about power, politics, and the price of ambition. Subscribe for more ancient stories with modern relevance. Because history isn't just about the past, it's about us.